Okay, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Product Week, an event designed to help you level up your product management skills and career. This event is powered by ADPList, the largest peer-to-peer learning platform in the world. If you want to learn, get mentored by the best people in tech, discuss ideas and network, ADPList is the perfect place for you. Come and join our community. We are 100% free. For today, we have our founder, Felix, with us to give us an opening speech for Product Week. I will pass the stage over to Felix now.
Hey, everyone. My name is Felix. I'm the co-founder here at ADPList, and we're really excited to kickstart this week together with some amazing speakers and some incredible lineups to kickstart the mentorship track for product management. So in this week, we're going to have many speakers sharing about the best tips in product management, as well as career advice in product management track as well. So I hope all of you enjoy the week. The team has planned amazing surprises throughout the week. So stay tuned. I know that there's so much more sessions that's coming up. So keep your energy level high. And finally, for this week, we'll also be giving away an Apple Watch to the best learner of the week, which Jer will share in a while. I can only hope everyone enjoy the rest of the week. Invite your friends, family, your network into this product week together, and we're going to have lots of fun. So have the best week ahead, and I will look forward to see you through all the sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix. Now, as Felix mentioned, we have something really exciting for everyone, which is we are giving away an Apple Watch to the best learner, sponsored by Product Academy. All you have to do is share your learnings from the sessions on LinkedIn and Twitter. Tag the speakers and tag ADPList. And for details on how to participate, please refer to information here on this slide or the message in our chat window that our team will be sharing now. A few housekeeping rules before we start. Please keep your camera on. We also encourage everyone to use your real name on Zoom. The presentation will be 30 minutes long, followed by a 15 minutes Q&A. This time round, we are using Slido to help us manage questions. If you have never used Slido before, it is very simple. All you have to do is scan the QR code on this slide, or that is behind me, or click on the link that our team will be sharing in a chat window every 10 minutes. Please remember to use your name when submitting questions on Slido, because anonymous questions will not be considered. You can also upvote other people's questions on Slido. Now, lastly, I just want to let everybody know that we are recording this session and we'll be sending the links after they are ready. For today's session, we are very honored to have Zhibo with us as the opening speaker for the MasterClass series. Zhibo is currently the head of product for deliveries and mobility at Grab, managing a diverse product portfolio from food delivery to online groceries, from ride-hailing to enterprise services for millions of consumers, drivers, and merchant partners in Southeast Asia. Before joining Grab, Zhibo also led the product team at C Group, formerly known as Garena. He's going to talk to us about how to build a user-centric and hyperlocal product. Without further ado, I will pass over to Zhibo for his presentation.
Great, thank you, Yue, and hello, everyone. Let me first share my screen. Okay, great. Just want to check, can everyone see my screen? Okay, all good. Awesome. And hello, everyone, again. I'm really honored to be here and to see the overwhelming response from all over the world. So I just want to start with a brief self-introduction. So I have been doing product management for over 10 years. After my graduation, I became a product manager. It was sort of a leap of faith because product management in 2011 was a very new discipline in the Southeast Asia. And most of my classmates either joined banking or consulting. I decided to give product management a try. And I was the only PM at C Group, which was called Garena back then. And I built up the entire product team over my 5 years tenure there. In 2015, Grab moved its headquarters from Malaysia to Singapore, and I joined Grab. I've been with Grab for almost 7 years now, and I'm managing its mobility and deliveries product teams. As you said, that include everything from ride-hailing to enterprise solutions, from food delivery to grocery shopping. For those of you who don't know Grab, it is a super app in Southeast Asia and serves millions of users every day. Its product offerings are similar to Uber plus DoorDash plus PayPal in the States, or Didi plus Meituan plus Alipay in China. I'm really fortunate to have worked and grown together with two of the biggest tech companies in this region. Cool, let's move on to today's topic, building a user-centric and hyperlocal product. So why is user centricity or customer centricity important? User centricity places the user in the middle of every single decision that a product-led company makes. It allows you to develop products that provide real solutions to persistent customer pain points. Since they are designed according to users' needs, these products generally perform well on the market. It's not surprising that Amazon put this term in its mission statement to be the Earth's most customer-centric company. Let's look at an example. So this picture was taken in Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia, which is also Grab's largest market. Grab offers ride-hailing service of motorbikes in Indonesia, which is called Grab Bike. By the way, Grab Bike is also an example of hyperlocality, as the motorbike is probably the most popular transport vehicle in many Southeast Asian markets. Imagine outside of a shopping mall or train stations in Jakarta, there could be many Grab drivers waiting for jobs. If a passenger books a Grab bike ride, she can quickly get allocated within seconds. However, because there are so many drivers nearby, it would take a few minutes for the passenger to go through the various bike plate numbers and find the right drivers for the ride. This is a real problem we identified after talking to our customers and also after tried booking rides ourselves in popular locations in Jakarta. So how to solve this problem? Can we make finding drivers in such scenarios much faster? Introducing our user-centric solution, Grab Now, that was launched in 2017. Grab Now uses proximity technologies that leverages Bluetooth, sound wave, or Wi-Fi to pair up two nearby devices quickly. So you can literally step out of shopping mall, look around to find a driver you like, walk up to him, and pair up and go. The ETA, or estimated time of arrival for pickup, is almost 0 minutes. After pairing up, the route tracking and payment process is similar to normal booking of Grab Bike. As you can see, it is an innovative and user-centric solution to solve real-life user pain point. Looks quite seamless from this recording, right? In reality, it has encountered issues, which I will explain a bit more later on. So what will it take to build a user-centric product? In my opinion, besides the normal product fundamentals, 4 elements are quite critical. They are the minimum lovable product mindset, user-centric metrics adoption, hyperlocality approach, and explicit user-centric culture. Next, I will explain them one by one. What is the minimum lovable product, or MLP? Many of you may be familiar with the concept of MVP, or minimum viable product. It is a product with enough features to attract early adopter customers and validate product ideas early in the product development cycle. MLP is essentially a user-centric MVP that can delight the user even in the initial launch phase. Customer can adore the MLP rather than tolerate it. For example, if you want to make a rainbow layered cake and test the hypothesis that customer will love the taste of a rainbow layered cake, what will be an MLP given the limited resource we may have in the initial phase? Well, you may make a product like this. It is a good foundational layer and can be iterated to become the final polished product. But it only has one color with no icing and will taste quite differently from a rainbow layered cake. So this is not really a minimum lovable product. Then what would be a good approach for the MLP in this case? Well, we could make a rainbow cupcake. It has all the necessary elements to test our hypothesis. And if a customer loves it, we can scale it up to become a whole rainbow layered cake. Now, let's continue with the Grab Now example. From the Grab Bike screen, we added the street hailing entry point at the bottom right and allowed passengers to pair up with drivers with our proximity technology. There were proper instructions provided. However, that may only serve as MVP, and it worked perfectly fine in our internal alpha testing. An MLP will require more product thoughts and cover the edge cases. During our beta testing in Jakarta, we realized that sometimes the distance between a passenger and the driver could be quite far for the proximity tag, and their Bluetooth or Wi-Fi may not be always enabled. You can imagine the issue would become more severe with COVID safe distancing. We tried experimenting with QR code scanning as a backup, but again, it was not really fail-safe due to camera or lighting issues. Hence, in the end, we added in the 6-digit fail-safe code. And in a crowded area, there could be multiple pairs of passengers and drivers trying to use Grab Now. And you might be paired up with a wrong driver. Hence, we also came up with a confirmation step. After that, you would be good to go and track your ride. This is what we eventually rolled out as the minimum lovable product for Grab now. Talking about adopting customer-centric metrics, I have a perfect example here. This screenshot was taken on the day when Grab announced that Uber would quit Southeast Asia and consolidate its business with Grab in 2018. My late boss, ex-chief of product officer of Grab, Zhibo Sun, sent this message and described his magical experience. At the Changi airport of Singapore, he opened the Grab app. The location was predicted correctly, and he got allocated super fast. The car arrived soon, and the polite driver gave him a very pleasant on-time ride home. He just loved this perfect experience. It was at this power moment when we realized that we should track how many percentage of our rides are so-called perfect journey. So we came up with these criteria of a perfect journey. App loading must be fast. You can get your booking done with less than 10 clicks. Grab can find your driver within 1 minute. The car should arrive fast in 2 minutes, and your estimated trip time should be within 5 minutes of the actual. If you ever reach this ride, it should be a 5-star one, and there's no complaint call to our customer support. It is a joint and condition, meaning only when all the 7 conditions are met, then we call this ride a perfect journey. The numbers below were just a snapshot of a particular day in that year. With this perfect journey tracking, we can identify potential gaps and improve with product innovations to uplift the final percentage. Here is another example of food delivery's customer-centric metrics, which has an acronym of FedEx that stands for Food Eater Delivery Experience. Grab used to primarily track the fulfillment rate, or FR, but considering the following 3 scenarios, Rachel's food delivery order is placed, but gets unallocated, or the order is placed again and eventually gets allocated, but it was completed 1.5 hours later. Edgemouth's order is cancelled by the driver. The order is placed again and gets delivered at 1 p.m. Fika's order is all good, but it only arrives at her doorstep at 1 p.m., again, 1.5 hours later. From a fulfillment perspective, the first 2 orders had 50% fulfillment rates, and the final order is a good fulfillment. But from the customer's perspective, all 3 orders are problematic. Even the last one, right, just took too long to deliver. The consumer will turn angry from being hungry and become what we call hangry. We can see a clear gap here if you only track FR. Introducing FedEx, the percentage of unique orders that were fulfilled at first order and delivered within an acceptable time threshold. And with our basket ETA promise kept. For example, a FedEx order from a nearby restaurant within 3 kilometers needs to be allocated and delivered within 35 minutes, as well as consistent with the ETA we displayed to our consumers upfront. It is our user-centric way to measure the success of our food product. Next, I want to discuss a bit on hyperlocality. In this globalized world, being hyperlocal is a useful approach to uphold user centricity, and it can give you a competitive advantage. As I shared earlier, Grab consolidated with Uber in Southeast Asia in 2018. Back then, Uber was seen as a superior tech company with a sleeker product. It was kind of like a David versus Goliath situation when Grab tried to compete with Uber in Southeast Asia. I think Grab's hyperlocal approach played an important role to what happened in the end. For example, when Jakarta had a restriction of road access for odd even plate numbers on alternative days, Uber could not respond as fast as Grab, since their headquarters was in San Francisco, and it had a global roadmap to manage. If you take a look at the two screenshots on the right-hand side, they show the landing page of the Grab app in Indonesia and Singapore. And you can see the number of services we offer, the ad banner we display on the top, or the feed content we showed on the bottom. They were both different. Let's go back. So Grab uses the same super app for all 8 markets we are in. And for each market and each city, we may have market-specific configurations, as the different markets are under different regulations. They speak different languages, have different user behaviors, and prefer different displays. When we design the features, we have to take such hyperlocality into consideration, provide multiple fungible components, and have feature flags that can enable such market-specific configurations. On the right-hand side, a Grab food landing page in Jakarta and Bangkok. You can see the category icons in Jakarta are placed on top, whereas the ad banner were placed higher up with the promotion highlight below it in Bangkok. We concluded on such displays after multiple rounds of A/B testing, user research, and data analytics. So I have to emphasize the importance of a ground truth when I talk about hyperlocality. Going to the different markets and being on the ground to interact with our users are crucial to good product management at Grab. This is part of our team culture. Here you can see me wearing a batik shirt, which is a traditional costume of Indonesia. To remind our PMs on being hyperlocal, Grab product team named every Thursday a batik Thursday 6 years ago. Until today, I still wear batik every Thursday. Last week, I was vacationing in Dubai for holiday, and I wore this batik shirt on that Thursday. And it is not just an act of symbolism. We regularly have a taste of our users' lives. On the left-hand side, you see me delivering food as a driver. And this man in the black tee is our CEO, Anthony Tan, helping merchants to pass food to our driver partners and get feedback. On the bottom right were our CEO and president picking grocery items together from a warehouse. For new employees onboarding and every anniversary's reboarding, we will do food delivery, shadow our driver partners, all merchant partners, and share our feedback as a user. We made the user-centric culture very explicit. As a marketplace, Grab has multiple types of customers: consumers, driver partner, and merchant partner, etc. What if conflicts arise, and whom shall we prioritize? We actually stated very clearly in our cultural website that Grab is a consumer first, partner second, and platform last company. And we need to build on the ground truth, as we believe it's important to personally go to the ground, apply our 5 senses to understand and experience the problems, and speak to the stakeholders. In doing so, we allow our conscious and unconscious assumptions to be challenged and round out our understandings with insights often not evident from data and second-hand information. Okay, having said enough about the best practices, let's try a real-life example. This was the GrabFood homepage back in early 2018, when Grab first pivoted from transport to food delivery. The one with the blue stripe was the delivery address bar, where we automatically detect the user's current GPS location and fill it in. Below it was the search bar for restaurants. A data point that I can share is that its eater cancellation due to wrong delivery address was 2.4%, and driver cancellation due to wrong delivery address was at 0.5%. That was a significant 3% combined cancellation due to wrong delivery address. So here is the challenge to the audience. Why do you think the cancellation rate due to wrong delivery address was so high? What's wrong with this design? You can try to type your guesses, your hypotheses on the Zoom chat. Anyone? If the location search cannot offer the suggestion of the correct locations, GPS detection was off, connectivity issues, location looks like a search bar instead. Both search bar and restaurant search looks the same. All right, many good answers. Okay, let me unveil the answer. From our data analytics and our own focus group study, we realized that many users simply type on the delivery address bar to search for a restaurant. For example, they may type McDonald's, and guess what? Because Grab also offers ride hailing as a service, we do have McDonald's as a valid POI or place of interest. And in the end, many users place order from the restaurant to be delivered to the exactly same address that led to the cancellations. All right, after knowing the problem, we need to solve it. How did we do it? This was our second iteration. We used a transitional animation to highlight the delivery address and also applied a different background color to differentiate. For delivery address that is too far away from your current GPS location, we also show the tooltip asking you whether it is the correct address. As a result, the cancellation due to wrong delivery address reduced significantly to less than 0.5% afterwards. And then in our newer version, we further iterated to leverage the animation to set proper customer expectations. For example, if it is raining outside, we will show the rainy day animation and banner. And we also add a reminder for address check and ask for floor number and unit number if it's not available at the checkout page. This is how we continuously improve our product with a user-centric approach. Cool. In this class, we have discussed why is user-centricity important, what are required to build a user-centric product, and use specific examples to illustrate minimum lovable product, user-centric metrics, hyperlocality, and explicit user-centric culture. We also did an exercise just now with a real-life example. I hope now you have a better understanding on how to build a user-centric and hyperlocal product. Happy to take some questions now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zhibo. This is super interesting. You had so many interesting examples, from the rainbow layer cupcake to McDonald's searching the address bar. I think I would like to move on to the Q&A stage because we have quite a bit of questions piling up. So let me just share my screen. All right, 1 second. Yes, so for the first question, Riza asked the question, does the perfect journey metrics will be different in terms of parameter and baseline for each type of product? For example, Grab car, Grab bike, Grab food.
Oh, that's a very good question. Thank you. And absolutely, the perfect journey definition will be different for each product offering. And the baseline will also adjust because we need to keep raising the bar ourselves. So I'll use Grab food as an example. So, you know, in the very beginning, we also had a similar criteria for Grab food perfect journey. But we realized that the nature of our Grab food product could be exploratory as well. You see, when you book a ride hailing, you want to book it very fast. You know where you want to go. And then bingo, then you get a ride. But for food delivery, there's sometimes you just want to reorder, and you can reorder very, very fast with a seamless reorder experience. But if you are not sure, you may be browsing the long list for restaurant, right? And there could be a lot of clicks along the way. And it may not be the consumer is having a bad experience. He or she may be enjoying himself or herself because of this exploring experience. So our perfect journey definition and the criteria will also need to evolve because of this product offering. Yeah, hope this clarifies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Samantha asked the question, how do you find what the user pain points are? How do you decide what can stay and go when determining your minimal lovable product?
See, thank you. This is a very good question. So there are multiple channels that we can leverage to find the user pain point. So for example, there are customer feedbacks. So we listen to our customer support calls. I mean, it's actually quite a common practice for many tech companies. We have this ground truth. We go to different markets and talk to our consumers, our drivers, our merchants. We interact with our business team, our ops teams, because they are on the front line interacting with our users. So their feedback and requests are also very important. We have a very sizable user research team, and we conduct regular user research or immersion sessions from different markets. Actually, even during COVID, we have these remote immersion sessions carried on as well. And we also track our data regularly, so we can get data insights. And last but not least, we conducted, the brand health survey, and we know our NPS. So those are some regular practices as well. And from there, we understand what the user pain points are. And how do we decide what to go in to the MLP? Well, there's no hard science. It's more like an art, because there could be so many features and there could be different edge cases that you need to cover. But I think a general rule of thumb, if during your alpha testing, during your beta testing, you see some pain points that it makes you feel uncomfortable. It makes you feel that, hey, I don't really love the product. There are some real issues I need to solve. Then that's likely meaning that this is not a minimum level product. You need to do something about it.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to, well, I guess some people may not be here at the beginning, right? So let's take this question. Do you use any framework or model to quantify which feature has a high priority?
Yeah, this is a very common question for product managers. And I think each product team may have a different approach. For my own one, well, the utmost important thing, so the number one priority is stability and security. So I used to say, like, outage and downtime is the ultimate GMV killer. So if your app is down, if your service is down, then there's nothing. So you need to fix stability and security issues as the highest priority. Then below that, I would say I put urgency as the second one. Urgency may mean there is OPI, open production issues, so it means critical bugs, or there's any compliance features you need to do. Otherwise, you may not be able to operate. So that is actually the second priority. And then we use the normal ROI approach. So the impact sizing over the t-shirt sizing of the effort. And we have a kind of a formula behind it. And then there could be strategy bet. Typically, a strategy bet is something that's so important, but it may take a long time to develop. So the ROI is relatively low compared to BAU features. But because it is so important and so strategic, we may need to force rank it above other features. And then further below, I need to look at the dependencies and the resource available. And generally in that order, that I try to prioritize my roadmap.
I wonder, is it any different to early stage companies versus bigger companies in this prioritization model? That's my question.
I think for early stage companies, it might be relatively simpler because the number of features you may need to do and the roadmap items could be quite obvious to the team. I think the team members may already have a good sense of what are the most important things you need to deliver. So for that, I think the whole team, I mean, for early stage company, I assume the size will be smaller, can come together and just discuss the relevant priorities. And again, I think it is very, very important to come back to the user pain point. So because sometimes ops teams may have their ops-driven challenges on hand, and it may be more near term, whereas the product team will have the longer term roadmap directions in mind. So there could be disagreement. So how to align? So then coming back to solving real user pain point, that is also the topic of today's masterclass.
Thank you. Moving on to the next question. How would you make a product feature decision if users were asking for one thing, but underlying data was showing another issue. So this one.
Okay, well, another very good question. So it happens from time to time. Yeah. So we do user research, we do focus group study, but even during those sessions, what the users were telling us may not be aligned with what data tell us. So that's why we also need to actually go to the different market, stay there, and use the product ourselves. And we try to find out what are the real problems. And sometimes during our usage of the product, for example, when I take a ride in Manila in the Philippines, I will talk to the drivers and chit chat with him, try to uncover new insight. It's actually from those moments you can know something new that is typically like not very discoverable from a normal user research sessions.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the next question. How does Grab do customer interviews or surveys to better understand different customer behavior, such as different cultures and languages?
So, I mean, the interviews or surveys are actually quite typical, but we have our local teams there, and they will talk to customers in their local languages. And then our regional user research team will compile the feedback and then share back with the regional team. And actually, you know, sometimes there could be cultural difference, and it's better for you to know the languages in order to converse with the customers and interact with them better. So actually, half of my team used to learn Bahasa Indonesian so that we can understand Indonesia culture and interact with our customers better.
Got it. I think it's especially important for companies in Southeast Asia because every country is very different culturally, right?
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah, let's move on to the next question. So Rohan asked the question, why are no rating and 5-star PAX grouped together while finding the perfect journey experience? How can we decide the experience without rating?
Thanks for noticing the details. Actually, I'm not sure about your own personal experience. You may not rate every single ride, even if it's a very good ride or order, right? So having no ratings may not mean it's a bad ride. So we'll just assume that if all the other 6 components of criteria are met, and even if it's a no rating, it may mean the customer just forgets to give a rating, but he or she is also happy about it. Yeah, that's why we club no rating and 5-star rating together.
Thank you. Moving on to the next one. Do you run A/B testing to measure the metrics? What are your North Star metrics and counter metrics at Grab?
We do run a lot of A/B testing for our success metrics. Actually, as Grab scales up, as our process becomes more standard, most of our teams needs to run A/B testing to test our hypothesis. It's actually part of our current product management process. And our North Star metrics differs from product offerings to product offerings. For example, like the FedEx metrics for food delivery, it is our North Star metrics for food. And I'm not sure what do you mean by counter metrics here. So we do have our success metrics, and we also have our guardrail metrics. So for certain initiatives, we will not roll out if our experiment results shows that it actually fall below the guardrail metrics.
Got it. I'm going to bump up David's question. Have you come across an instance where hyperlocality did not work out?
Hyperlocality did not work out. Well, There are some instances here and there, and I think the challenge of hyperlocality or sometimes ultra locality is there are trade-offs, and you could have so many different design templates and components available in the app. You could have different animations in the app and different feature flags. And because you have such a complex structure, bugs could happen. So you need very, very good regression tests. And the app size could increase as a result. So we also need to strike a balance. And our engineering team and product team work together to regularly discuss how we can downsize the app. Because if the app size is over, for example, let's say even with today's mobile phone and data, mobile infrastructure, if it's over, let's say 300 megabytes, a lot of users will just not download it, especially in this part of the world. So, those trade-offs are real. And sometimes hyperlocality, if it's too granular, it may introduce unnecessary errors to our product.
Got it. Thank you very much, Zhibo. I'm sorry, we are actually running short of time. So I'm going to end the Q&A session now. And again, thank you, Zhibo. I've learned a lot. And I think just a reminder for everyone, right? If you also feel you've learned something, please remember to post your learnings on LinkedIn and Twitter, tag Zhibo and tag ADPList, stand a chance to win our Apple Watch giveaway. Before we wrap up, let's all switch on our camera and take a quick group photo together. All right.
Thank you everyone, and thank you for having me here. Enjoy this session, and feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn for further discussions.
All right, cool. Okay, thank you very much. I think, and for those of you who want to learn more, head over to adplist.org or follow us on our social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you again for joining us today. I'll see you in the next session, and let's be more together. Thank you.